Today is April 10th, 2026, and we are now in the beginning stages of what might be a ceasefire between the USA and Iran, which is good news. However, the whole war has been a fiasco and a disaster for the moral standing of the United States in international affairs. And what I tried to do with this upcoming video is talk to people that I know inside Tehran and Mashhad in eastern Iran, people that I've met in my travels there, people who I trust, to get the point of view of the Iranian side. There is such thing as U.S. propaganda. There is such thing as the official story, which is not 100% true. So the allegations of the former supreme leader killing 30,000 or 100,000 people, those allegations are challenged in this upcoming video interview with Hamid Gashgabi and Syed Musavi. So please enjoy this. This is an attempt at international diplomacy and international dialogue, and I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you.
So this is so excellent to make contact with my old friend Syed Musavi. He is live now. I believe you're in Mashhad, the holy shrine city of Mashhad.
Yes, I'm in Mashhad.
And you're out in the streets. Are you at a protest? What's going on? No coverage in our country. The USA, there's like a media blackout. We don't really know what's going on in Iran.
So every single night there are literally hundreds of people or even thousands of people across the cities at every major intersection. And that's why I said there couldn't have been a better timing. So these people gather every night from around 8 p.m. to, well, some of them stay late, like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., some of them until this sunrise. But all of them with the national flags, and they get their little microphones and speakers out, and they play songs, religious songs. We call them maddahi. It's different from music, but it's like an epic march about things like Imam Hussein, things like the Battle of Karbala. I'm sure you're familiar with.
Right.
And the themes are around the subjects of martyrdom.
Right.
And the fact that we're on the streets every night until the war ends. And this is one of the things if I want to talk to you, and thank you for the invitation, but if I want to talk to you, it's not because I have something to say, but because I've seen greatness on the streets of Iran every night. And I've been out almost every night, and this is one of the intersections. We come here because, first of all, it's close to our house, and there are two other intersections. They are far more crowded, and I will record videos. I just told my wife that I'm going to record a video for Sander, and I'm going to send him to him. But we're here because there is less people. I would say here it's about maybe 100. I would say just dozens of people, but other intersections, you go and there's not a place to stay, there's not a place to stand. And but I wanted to come here because it would be more significant for us to be here rather than the crowded places, because we want to be here to show our support. And like I said, people have been marching. People have. I did record a video here. Actually, it's about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and you can see it's a cross. It's an intersection, and every time the lights go green, there are 3 or 4 cars that pass by, and they have their flags out. And other than people who are standing here, there are marches around the city of Mashhad and every other major city in Iran. And these are people who are out in support of the Islamic Republic. And this wasn't one of my major questions, because I didn't know how much you'd be aware that there are these gatherings around Iran, and it's not
Yeah.
just the city of Mashhad. It's
Well, I have
literally
a funny,
every city
I
you
have a
go.
funny question. I have a funny question for you,
Yeah.
Syed. Brett Stevens is a major conservative columnist in the New York Times, and in one of his recent columns, he made reference to the protest movement inside Iran, and somebody needs to tell him that, like, the protest movement has been very derailed, it seems, by the Trump's killing of Ali Khamenei. And the supreme leader. And so it seems that people are rallying around a sense of defense. And so when you asked me about is the U.S. media reporting on these nightly countrywide shows of support for the Islamic Republic, I said, no, I've never heard about it. But are you saying this is happening across the whole country?
Yes, yes. In every major city, you can, if you have friends over other cities, or I can arrange for that. This was a car. You can. Let's just look at this. It's a small pickup with lots of flags and what you call a sound system.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they're
sound
playing
system.
songs, riding around the city. And if you can hear me, I can continue. Yes, in every major city, you can find all these intersections, and I can arrange for that. For you if you want. I could gather probably videos from other cities. But
Great.
yeah, it's going on in practically in every city.
Interesting. And what about those protests? I want to learn more about the protests that preceded the assassination of the supreme leader. You said that they had a level of militarism and violence and organization that you've never seen before. You said that at one point the protesters decapitated somebody. What can you tell me about what you saw? Not what you heard, but what did you see?
Okay. What I saw, first of all, that in the city of Mashhad, still, and this is still the case, wherever you go, you find bus stations. All the glasses are shattered, and this is by the protesters. Well, I didn't. I told you I found an image, a very gruesome image of someone being sacrilege. I would guess a body. I could send it to you. It's very graphic, but it says on the image that this is one of the supporters of Ali, meaning Ali Khamenei, Ayatollah Khamenei, the former leader,
Right.
supreme leader.
I think instead of sacrilege, we would say the body was desecrated.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
violated. It was somehow
Okay, yes,
mutilated. Yeah.
yes.
But sacrilege is
And,
close. I understood. I understood what you meant.
Yeah, that's why I was I don't know, I was not hesitant in that sense, but because there is a message, there's a message to carry across to you and to your audience, and I'm very grateful, and by the grace of God, that I can be the voice to get that message across. I'm very happy for that. And like I said, there's greatness to witness here in Iran. These people, you can see, these people go through the streets every night, like I said, for 3-4 hours at a time. And I'm happy. And the thing you said about revenge, yes, it is one of the themes. One of the chants that they say is that we want revenge for our slain supreme leader. And you said about the protests. Like I said, what I saw was the damage of property and the damage to to businesses and shops. You went around the town, and the shops that I go to shop for dairy and stuff, and they said that they are told to close their shops by, I think it was by 4 p.m. because it was not safe in the streets. And we would. I have a 4-month-old baby boy, and I was going to go out and get some formula, and I was afraid. I was truly afraid that something might happen because I need to cross an intersection, and these are the things that I experienced personally. And but right now, you see, there are, like I said, hundreds of thousands of people are out, and no one fears them. No one is worried that they're going to destroy something or that they're going to attack even.
While Musavi has a pause in the recording, I think it's worth giving you some background. My friend Syed Musavi is a resident of Mashhad, which is in eastern Iran. It's only about an hour or two away from. Okay, but the connection is really good right now. So let me ask you a hard question. Critics of the new supreme leader say he is kind of, well, first of all, it's weird that he is the son of the old supreme leader. It's sort of monarchical. And also they say he's not really qualified. He's more of a stooge or a front man. You know the phrase front man for the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. How would you react to those criticisms?
First of all, we still don't know. We are not very much familiar with this new supreme leader. There's a mechanism for choosing a new leader, right? Yeah. This is not. I'm not going to repeat the claims, but this is not like a terrorist organization. There are established mechanisms to choose supreme leaders, and those mechanisms, I think, have worked. And yes, we're not still comfortable. I know that the late supreme leader had specifically said that I don't want my son to be the next leader, and that we believe that's why he was not in in the public eye so much.
He wasn't on deck. He wasn't in the top 10.
No. A lot of people didn't even know him. I didn't know him. People had to put out his resume, what he did or how qualified he is. It's still a developing story for us as well.
Okay. Well, that's very honest of you.
Yeah. And like I said, there are 12 people who choose a new supreme leader, right? 6 of them are clerics and 6 of them are other professions. And I think they've taken a vote, and they've chosen this. The fact that the former leader was assassinated and was martyred, I think it made how do I say this? It had an impact on who the next leader was.
Right.
If Ayatollah Khamenei had died of I don't know, probably old age, they might have made a different decision.
Yeah.
But I think this definitely had an impact because people were hungry for, and they are still hungry for revenge. So this may have been actually a decision to somewhat soothe that feeling as well,
Right.
But I don't believe personally that the former supreme leader had anything to do with it, and I know that he had, like I said, emphasized that I don't want my son to be the next supreme leader because of the same, it would, like you said, it would seem like a monarchy or something of that nature, and we don't want that in Iran.
It's not Islamic. That's what the Ayatollah Khomeini used to say to Saudi Arabia. monarchies are not Islamic, and that's how the Saudi Arabia got pissed off at Iran back in 1979, 78. So back to a few harder questions. I mean, I personally, I'm anti-war and I'm anti-Trump, and I wanted to extend my heartfelt sorrow that this is happening. And I tell us more about what you're seeing on the ground in Mashhad. Is mostly the airport got bombed in your hometown, or did other buildings get bombed, or is it as bad as Tehran, or is it not as bad? Tell us what you're seeing.
No, nowhere is as bad as Tehran. I have a lot of family members in Tehran. No, they're bombing Tehran apparently left and right, but in Mashhad, no. First of all, I personally and my family from home. Well, I have two boys, 12. One of them 12, another like 9 or 8, you would say, and a little girl of 4 years old, and also a 4-month-old little son. So you can imagine how much noise is going on around their house. So we haven't heard anything ourselves, but we read in the news that Mashhad was attacked a handful of times, not many times, but yes, it's mostly the airport, because I've heard there are reports that Russia is trying to send us equipment, and help by the way of air, and that's why they're attacking the Mashhad airport, because they would land in the Mashhad airport. That's what I heard. I haven't heard explosions. I did hear the defense, the defensive, what you say. I've heard that. What?
Like an alarm, a siren?
No. There are no sirens in Iran, but I heard the defensive guns sound little explosions during the 12-day war, but not this time. I haven't heard anything this time.
Right.
But no, Mashhad is very much quiet. But Tehran and Tabriz and Isfahan and some of these major cities that are major hubs of industry or military bases, yeah, they're being attacked pretty hard.
And what do we make of this allegation that Trump made last Monday about peace negotiations are underway, and then the Iranians say we don't know what he's talking about? What do you think is going on?
My advice would be to trust neither side, but no, I don't think there are peace negotiations. First of all, these are not negotiations. As the former Supreme Leader said, when Donald Trump comes to you and says, I want this and this and that, that's not a negotiation.
Right.
I want your nuclear plants gone. I want your nuclear industry just dismantled. I want your missiles to have a range of a negligible range of 300 kilometers, where you can hit anywhere with them, especially Israel. That's not a negotiation. That's Donald Trump putting out demands and insisting that Iran accepts all of them. That's not, we don't call that a negotiation. And the thing you need to understand, well, you understand that, and you know that about Iran, but if this chat ever reaches an audience, I want them to understand that Iran is unlike any other nation. Okay, and I know a lot of people might say that about their country, but the Shia tradition that's in Iran, the main theme that we repeat to ourselves every year for 2 months. We go to these gatherings, we call them Roseh, right? Where they recite the hardships that Imam Hussein went through in the Battle of Karbala. And we learned that he was killed, but he was not defeated, right? And he did not surrender. That's the important thing here. Iranians, let me put a footnote here. This is important. If the new supreme leader, right, if he says we want to negotiate with the United States today, okay, we need to understand that, or we need to accept that, okay, because we have accepted him as our leader, and whatever he says, we need to follow, right? If it's negotiations, we need to accept that, and if it's resistance, we are prepared for that as well, right? And like I said, the Iranians have learned that there are only two outcomes for any war with your enemies, right? Provided that your enemy is truly evil, right? We're not talking about animosity between two Muslim nations, right? We're not talking about that. When the other side is the United States government, or the other side is the Israeli government, there are only two outcomes imaginable for this war, right? It's either we get killed, right, and we don't consider that a bad thing, and I'm going to explain this, or we're going to resist and be successful and be victorious in this war, right? If you go to Donald Trump, or if you go to Benjamin Netanyahu, I would say, as much as they say that we are believers in our religion, I think the most important thing to them is, I would say, is their wealth and their health, right? There's nothing more important to these people than their lives. If you threaten to take their lives from them, that's the last thing you can tell them, right? But if you go to Iranians, that's not the case. We believe that if we are killed by these people, right, that represent what the most evil people on earth, right? If we get killed by these people, and I can tell you this because I know you're a spiritual person, you're a religious person, and you believe in heaven and hell. So we believe that if we get killed by these people, we're going straight to heaven, right?
Right.
And
Musavi,
yeah.
I just want to say that what I'm working on personally is it's so easy to call an entire people evil. I'm against the genocide in Gaza, but if we allow ourselves to completely demonize Israel or demonize Trump, it's almost like we're giving him, or either Trump or Netanyahu, more power than they actually have. These people are still human. They're not demons, and they're not pure evil. The real demons in the world, it seems, are violence and war itself. And I know that I can't lecture you because your country is being bombed by my country, and it's so crazy that we're even talking. And my heart is breaking because it's so insane that we're even talking. We're supposed to be enemies. I'm supposed to hate you. You're supposed to hate me, and yet you don't. It's radical what we're doing right now, because we're saying that I'm saying Iranians are not evil. The late Supreme Leader was not evil. And I think that's what you connected with, because you saw my YouTube video about me quoting him. His beautiful quote about Baharat and the Hajj and being against mercilessness, right? The late Supreme Leader was against mercilessness. That's not even a word that we use very much. We use merciless a lot in American English, but mercilessness it really means cruelty or extreme violence. And so I just want us to slow down and be like, listen, I know your point. Your point is that Shia Islam is rooted in experiences of martyrdom and pilgrimage and sacrifice, and the Iran-Iraq war, what you call the war of holy defense, was really, again, a U.S.-backed proxy war backing Iraq to invade Iran, and you have every right to call the United States evil, but I think the truly radical spiritual way is to slow down and not demonize people, because I think that would be the first step to a true peace negotiation. What do you think?
Okay. First of all, I know you're all about nonviolence, and look, we have to look at the facts on the ground, right? First of all, I think I did say the United States government,
Right.
and you know, you of all people certainly know that when our people say death to America, and actually in one of the rallies, it was interesting and it was beautiful for me that the chant leader, right, specifically said that when we, I mean, the Iranians, a lot of them know that, but he felt obligated to say that when we say death to America, we have no problem with the American people, right? Our problem is with the government. And look, you have to, as I said, look at the facts on the ground, right? We knew, our military knew that this war was coming, right? The United States spent weeks and weeks gathering its forces, preparing its equipment to attack us. We knew that we would be attacked, right? And the Israelis, both times, the 12-day war and this current war, when they began their operations, they said we were we were doing preemptive strikes, right? What did they preempt? We knew that they were coming, and yet we did not attack them first, right? We could have, in your terms, we could have used violence weeks before the war actually began, right? We could have done that, but we did not, because we chose nonviolence. The Iranians chose nonviolence, but you can't talk about nonviolence when you're, like you said, when you're being bombed, right?
Yeah, no, I understand. That's why my point wasn't really about nonviolence per se, because self-defense is, you know, part of the United Nations international law, and no advocate of nonviolence is going to condemn self-defense from an aggressive enemy. So I wasn't really talking about nonviolence. I was just talking about the rhetoric of using the word evil, like where is evil? It seems like the evil. I'll tell you something funny about U.S. media. I know you're a media professional. You're with Mashhad News, and we want to hear more about your background and what you do for work. But in the U.S., whenever they want to interview an Iranian voice, they usually get a general who says basically the same thing, that, you know, we would love for the United States to invade, and they will completely impale themselves, and we'll chop off their heads, and there will be a sea of blood. And instead of getting anybody on the Iranian side who is maybe a religious leader or a spiritual leader or a diplomat or a negotiator who says, like, you know, international law says you can't kill our sovereign leader, that's a complete violation of international law, and it's just not right, it's not moral, it's not Christian, it's not Islamic, so it seems to me that my point was not about nonviolence, but more about just slowing down the rhetoric of using the word evil. But where do you see the evil in the world today?
Okay, let me explain my point a little bit, because I think I could not get my message across quite properly. What I was talking about was, all these people on the streets, right? And there are people, the Iranians, standing by their missile launchers, right? While knowing that they might be bombed any second, right? So I want you to understand, what I want you and your audience to understand about the Iranian rationale for resisting these wars is that, this was the point I was trying to make. Look, if the angel of death, right, we call him Israel in Arabic and in Islam, right? If that angel came to me and said, "You're going to die tomorrow," okay, and there goes the light here. So if that angel came to me and said, "You're going to die tomorrow at the hands of your neighbor," right? I would think to myself, okay, but why would my neighbor want me dead? Right? That's a legitimate question. Have I done something wrong? Did I ever do something that hurt him? That now, because he's a regular person, right? He's not a murderer. He's not a serial killer. So why would he want me dead? Okay, that would be a legitimate question. But if that same angel said, "You know what? You're going to die in 15 seconds because an Israeli bomb is going to fall on your house," I would be happy, right? Because let's do a logical math, if you will. If you as a religious person who believes in hell and believes in heaven, right? If you were asked whether you want to go to heaven in 70 years or in 10 seconds, which one would you choose? You would choose to go to heaven in 10 seconds, right?
Yeah,
I know
I guess. Yeah, I guess so. It depends on the
it
terms.
might sound selfish because you want to ask, "Hey, what happens to my family? What happens to my two sons?" Right?
Right.
But if, like all other things aside, a logical person would say, "Why would I have to suffer for another 80 years? You know, get up every night, every morning early, go to work, earn money, eat, sleep, and why would I want to do that for another 80 years? I want to go to heaven in 10 seconds, right?"
Listen, we're being joined.
That's my point.
I have to pause you for 1 second and welcome to the call my old friend Hamid Gashgabi.
How are you doing, Hamid?
Yes, Hamid. I think you guys know each other, right? Hamid is in Tehran.
Yes, we do.
Musabi's in Mashhad.
Yes.
And I don't think Hamid knew you were going to be on the call. He's just sort of a spontaneous. But welcome,
for the
Hamid. Yes. Hamid, you're now a professor at a university in Tehran. Is that right?
I didn't know that Sajjad is such a good commentator. That's the first time I'm hearing him. But I'm working on my thesis at Faculty of World Studies about the similarities and differences from a legal and economic point of view between anti-apartheid movement of South Africa and BDS movement against Israel, which is boycott, divestment, and sanctions. So, I did one for the PhD as well. I'm waiting the result. But I am still keeping my title. My international title is Iran's youngest sanctioned person by U.S. Treasury Department at the age of 29.
Great. Thank you, Hamid, for joining the call. And we'll keep Syed on. Is your first name, your title is Syed, and then your middle name is Sajjad? Or what do people call you? Do I call you Musabi?
Well, my first name is Sajjad. Sayed, you could say it's a title, not at the same level, but you could, in English, you probably could you could say like sir. You know how people put sir before the actual name. It means a descendant. It means Sayyid means the person is a descendant of Prophet Muhammad.
Right.
So that's not that is part of my name, but it's not my first name. And then Sajjad being my second name.
Title.
Do call me Sayyid as a former respect. Some people call me Sajjad. You can do it however you want.
Good. Okay, great, Sajjad. I did know that because I've read Mantle of the Prophet, which is another great book about Iran that Kevin Barrett recommended. So Hamid, I know Hamid from the New Horizon conferences in 2017 and 2018, and then Trump and other people. Sajjad, I'm just going to put you on mute for a second so we can get rid of the background noise.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Okay. But Sajjad, if you can unmute if you have anything you want to say. I'm not silencing you or censoring you. Okay.
Such a dictator. Authoritarianism.
But So Sajjad told us about nationwide support rallies for people rallying around a sense of attack and a sense of defense, a sense of martyrdom. We talked about Shia Islam. He is actually at a rally right now inside of the city of Mashhad. Are you seeing the same thing in Tehran, Hamad?
Yes, sure. I mean, I have participated myself. My little brother, my both my parents actually went there. Various square, so we have square, half house square. We have Falakidovun Tehran Pars. We have Heravi Square, where my actually younger brother is attending, and so something which is amazing is here is what is going on. I mean, right now, I mean, after 47 years, why we are saying that Iran was waiting that moment for years? Because from the beginning of the revolution in 1979, we knew that the United States of America as an empire will at some specific moments intervene. Basically, I mean, personally, as a country, so because they have tried sanctions, the 8 years of war between Iran and Iraq. At that time, Iran was alone. Iraq was actually aided by, Germany, France, French Mirage, the aircraft and airplane was helping them, and even the AVAX from the States and the British, Americans have been sending the chemical weapon to Saddam regime, and at that time, even Soviet Union was not helping Iran at that time. So somehow was indirectly even helping Saddam, because they have been promoting all these leftist actually movement across the Arab Muslim majority countries anyhow. So, and then they tried by assassination of Iranian nuclear scientists.
Right.
Can you imagine that? I mean, we have some scientists across the globe, we have knowledge, and then we are going to kill the Iranian scientists. Why? Because we have the arrogance as United States of America and Israel to say that only we decide who should have that science or not. So I'm not going to talk about the Renaissance. What happened in the Western Hemisphere, Renaissance, and we have the Enlightenment. We knew that a lot of those sciences went there from Andalus, Spain, south of France, by Muslim scholars, and there's a lot of actually Al-Khwarizmi and Farabi, Ibn Sina, Averroes, a lot of actually references about this issue. But the fact is that we have been prepared for that moment. So what happened coming back to 4 years ago? A girl passed away, was not assassinated, while arrested by the police, and that's by the name of Mahsa Amini, and it was a tragic movement. But after that, it kind of some kind of protest began, but it was infiltrated. You know what, Sandra? Every single time in Iran, people have some demand, they go to actually express it peacefully in the street, as what happened coming back to 3 months ago. And even Supreme Leader did recognize that. So I have my uncle working in bazaar and market. I mean, because of the economic situation, people have been protesting. But the issue is, at that specific moment, Israeli Mossad and American CIA do infiltration within peaceful protests, meaning that coming back to just 3 months ago, they have been armed group who killed a lot of policemen. I mean, right now, Tim Anderson is in Iran, an Australian professor. So they are witnessing what happened, and even they have been shooting people in peaceful rally by the distance of 30 centimeters, very, very close, just from their back. So a lot of they made a lot of these bodies. Actually in what we call it, I mean the official lawful, I'm done. So official doctors, they did a diagnosis of these bodies which were shot by this armed group, and that's very obvious. For example, I'm giving you an example. Iranian police, because they are saying American European mainstream media, Iran killed 30,000 people come back to the peaceful protest of 3 months ago. But the issue is Iranian army and Revolutionary Guard, they use a specific type of gun. So you can know the bullet and everything.
trace the
But
bullet.
these people, they have been killed, which the true number is 3,000. Actually, none of them were used by the bullet using by the official armed force in Iran.
So how many protesters, short answer, please, how many protesters did die by your estimate?
Almost free. I mean, so in order to avoid all these, nonsense issues, Iranian state did publish the ID number of those who have been killed. That's almost, 3,100, something like that. Okay, none of these Iranian so-called opposition should say anything because they did publish the ID number of those who have been killed. Well, I cannot just walk away and say 30,000, 40,000. I mean, Israel in 2 years in Gaza did kill 70,000, and in 2 days they are saying Iran did kill 30, 40,000. But the issue is when it comes back to war, I would like to talk about war. If you allow me, Sander, or you have any other question.
Oh, I got lots of questions for you, Hamid. But I want to know, what are you seeing on the streets of Tehran? Are you back in Tehran, or are you still out?
No. I for 2 days I went to Babel in north of Iran to meet my grandma. Before that, I was in Tehran, and I'm back in Tehran. So what I see is that a stupid American president did something which is very bad for America. Trump did unify Iranian people. Meaning, if you watch Iranian, state television or social media, you see a lot of Iranian who have been formerly in opposition of Islamic Republic, in opposition of the former Supreme Leader. Today, I watched a clip on Twitter, an Iranian girl saying that I was rallying against Supreme Leader, and right now, in order to defend my country, I am supporting Iranian Islamic Republic of Iran.
Wow.
Meaning that.
That's an interesting thing.
I did witness. Indeed. I did what I witnessed. After what I told you about the case of Mahsa Amini and some protests coming back to 4 years ago.
Oh, I remember her. Yeah,
I have been waiting. Yes, I have, and in 2 years of Gaza, Israel did kill 70,000 of Mahsa Amini, but mainstream media in the West have been shut down. Here is the issue. When the war happened, I'm talking about the war in June 2025, called 12-day war.
12-day war, right?
When the first day was weekend. So they begin the war at weekend. Why at weekend? In Iran, the weekend is Friday. And so Friday is a Sunday in States. Why? Because the international energy oil market opened on Monday. So coming back to last week when Trump said, I gave 2 days to Iranian officials in order to think, he said that on Saturday, last Saturday. Why? Because on 2 days is Monday, and the international energy markets open, and Trump cannot control the energy and the price of the oil. But the issue is when the war in June 2025 happened, I actually was waiting that some of these people unsatisfied with, unhappy with the economic situation, go to the street and say, death to Khamenei, death to Islamic Republic. But I was very carefully listening to if there's anything said by my neighbors, but nothing. And that's why what is called by Iranian philosopher Bijan Abdul Karimi as the historical understanding of Iranian people from being a Persian. Being a Persian means if the enemy attacks us, we are unified. Even if I hate the Mullah and Ayatollah regime, but I'm going to defend them because they, through the Revolutionary Guard, they are defending my country. So the first, second, third day, the first, second, third day, they have been waiting people coming to the streets. And even some of us in Iran, we have been waiting that. But none of this happened. On the day 4th and day 5, we have right now the document in Iranian Minister of Foreign Affairs via the Persian Gulf country and European countries. Israel and United States, they did try for ceasefire, and I'm talking about the war in June 2025. So, but it was the day 5. Why? Because Iran is leading a kind of asymmetrical war. What does it mean? I mean, the U.S. Army, the Israeli army, they are very good when it comes to classical war. So classic wars is when you have, the 500 helicopters and you have 100, jet fires and so on.
Symmetrical
But
warfare.
when it comes to the caves of Afghanistan, when it comes to very complicated society of Iraq, when it comes to south of Lebanon, when it comes to Gaza, even after 2 years of bombardment, they are forced to negotiate with Hamas. So that's a kind of like guerre asymétrique, French people call it, asymmetrical war, in which Iranians are experts. So Iran said that we are not going to stop it in the day 5, so we are going to continue till the day 12. So, and in the last days, even Iran right now, Iran is not using all the missiles. We are just going to use the past generations of Iranian missiles right now, even right now. And Iran still have many cards to play. I mean, the Bab al-Mandab, played by the Yemeni, and on the other side we have Oman Sea. So we heard about Iranian missile going 4,000 kilometers to Diego Garcia Iceland. So it was a lot of noises in European actually media that Iran, we thought that Iran only have missiles of maximum 2,000 kilometers. So what I am saying that right now, this time, Iran is not going to stop. So they tried by any means possible for a ceasefire. We are not even negotiating. Look at what insane Trump is saying. He is saying we are negotiating, and no one from Iranian side, is approving or confirming that yes, we are actually negotiating with Americans. Why? Because twice we have been betrayed. I mean, it was a betrayal of diplomacy by Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. Twice we have been talking in the middle of talk, and every single time the attack happened, just once on Friday, once on Saturday, on the same week, the weekend, and on Monday we had the appointment to meet with Americans in Geneva. So can you imagine? No one is going to trust American diplomacy across the globe. It could be the case for Chinese diplomat, it could be case for the Russian diplomat. Actually, Russians is going to talk about Ukraine with Americans, and how they're going to trust that America is not going to attack us or our friends in the middle of these negotiations. So that's what Trump is doing, is destroying the American diplomacy. You know, I mean, the former president of the United States, do you think they had no enough intelligence to go to war with Iran? They have been much more intelligent than Trump, but they knew that Iran will be a new Vietnam for American army. They knew that if we are going to actually combat with these people, the ground force which will be worst case, because Iranian, American Air Force is the positive, actually very strong point of American army, the Air Force in the U.S.
Right.
In Iran, the ground force are at the very high level of being ready to any kind of confrontation with the Americans. We have the experience of 8 years of war, and we are saying to them, we are waiting for you. That's why American media interviewing Dr. Arakchi, Iranian Minister of Foreign Affairs, about the U.S. boots on the ground, and Dr. Arakchi replied by smiling and saying that we are waiting for them. Meaning that on that issue, we are going to continue until the enemy will be punished. Until in 6 months, in 8 months, in a year, we will not be going to face the same situation in which Americans or Israeli have the audacity to attack us. So that's why we are not going to accept any kind of negotiation right now at the moment. So they passed some message to Turkey or Pakistan, and they are our neighbors and friends. They transmitted these messages. That's not a negotiations. None of these actually certain negotiations or talk happen, as Trump saying constructive talk and so on. And you know what? Before the war, Strait of Hormuz was free. Right now, Trump is doing his best just to open it. Okay,
I know.
such an imbecile, such an idiot. Okay,
Yeah.
look what is going on in the international energy market. And
Yeah.
just the last thing,
If I could ask you a question,
even if tomorrow there is a deal between the US and Iran, the energy market is going to actually react in a month or two, or in not more, and I mean not closer than 6 months. The energy market is going to come back to the same situation, because at the beginning it's something which we can control as human being, and later we have a lot of factors coming to intervene in the security and oil markets.
Yeah, that gets me to a question. Since you mentioned Straits of Hormuz, but first of all, I want to ask, what's the correct way to pronounce it? Some people in the USA say Hormuz or Hormuz. Do you say Straits of Hormuz?
So we say Tangier Hormuz, Strait. So that's it. Hormuz Strait, or Hormuz. American media saying Hormuz by U.
Yeah. Now
but they have to come. They have to come. John, they have to send the boots on the ground.
Hang out, John. We're going to get a question in for you too. So just hang out there for a minute there in Mashhad. But back to Hamid in Tehran. We want to. I want to kind of figure out what is the off ramp. How could we together, us three, put our heads together? What is a diplomatic way to end this war? And will the Iranians want to start a tax or like a toll at the Straits of Hormuz, or are there reparations that you're going to be demanded? So Hamid, we're going to go to you, Hamid, first, but we need short answers, and then we'll go to Sajjad.
Okay. I'm giving you the same exact answer given by Kamal Kharrazi, who is a very high Iranian diplomat and the actually head of Iranian Supreme Council of Foreign Policy. He says there is no more room for diplomacy, and here is a reason. Sander, for 25 years we have been arguing and negotiating with Americans and Europeans for these nuclear issue. In 2015 we came to JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the nuclear deal. And on why, so Steve Witkoff just yesterday was talking, saying that Iran has not right to have enriched uranium. Who the hell are you Americans? Who the hell do you think you are in order to say who in the whole world can do what and cannot do what? We as an independent nation, and maybe one of the most old ancient civilization in the history, and very peaceful, we have the right to use any access to the energy which is actually accessible to any other nation very peacefully for medical usage and so on. So, and you know what, I just, to answer your question, I believe that the former leader Ali Khamenei was the person who humiliated President Trump the most. Why? Because Trump in the first term sent Shinzo Abe, Japanese prime minister, and he had a letter from Trump, and he had that, and he had the envelope. You have the movies, if you would like, I can send it to you. Shinzo Abe had the envelope once meeting with Iranian Supreme Leader in his hand, and Iranian Supreme Leader said, regarding to what you said about Trump, I have no message for him, because I do not see Trump a person at a level that I can communicate or send a message. It was a huge humiliation for Trump. And what he was saying, Trump, Supreme Leader, was saying, I am going to enter in that international club. You have nuclear bomb. We are going to challenge you without nuclear bomb based on our spiritual actually basis. So answering your question, diplomacy is they actually in the middle of the negotiation, they bombed the table of diplomacy. How do you expect Iranian people right now, the most optimistic people in Iran toward the Western Hemisphere, toward the United States, they are saying we can no more talk with these Americans because at the same time they are betraying us and we can no more trust them. That's a question of trust, Sander. I had talked with many American friends. Many American friends told me, Hamid, including Kevin Barrett, you cannot trust American politicians unless you destroy their military bases in the region. And what Iran is doing is just vaporizing all these actually military bases in the region, which, billions and billions of dollars has been spent, more than 40 years in that region. We would like the U.S. to exit from our region. and that's the solution to that crisis. We are the region, actually, the regional states are rational enough in order to have a peaceful, actually, regime in Strait of Hormuz, a Middle East, and we do not need the Godfather. Okay, that's finished. The U.S. era in, the post 9/11 era is finished. Yes, and your time is finished as well.
Thank you, Hamid. I'm going to put you on mute for just 1 second, but we're going to come back to you. Thank you. We're going to go back to our friend Sajjad Mousavi in Tehran. And if you can, Sajjad, can you? Okay.
In Mashhad.
He's in
not
Mashhad,
Tehran.
What? Yeah. No, he's good. Okay, good. So I'm going to give you a preview. The next question for Hamad. Don't answer yet. Don't answer yet. Just stay there thinking about this. But I'm going to ask you about the late great Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, who was pious and who was against the use of a nuclear weapon. And is that still going to be the policy of the future, or the new supreme leader? But before we go there, let's go to Mousavi. What is your take on what is the off ramp? How do we end this war?
Yeah, the off ramp. It's simple. You know, the off ramp is very obvious. I'm just not sure Donald Trump is ready to take it. You know,
what is it? Tell us what it is.
It's just accept the reality. Look, we could talk all day about Israel having nuclear weapons, and why shouldn't Iran have them, right? If this is in geopolitical terms, right? You talk about a lot of a lot of people with an opinion on this, and they all say Iran should have a nuclear weapon, right? And to be honest with you, like I said, nonviolence aside, I wish the next question you said you were going to ask Ahmed, I wish the next supreme leader does not have that same idea, you know. And this is totally on Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, because they claim that Iran is trying to make a nuclear weapon to attack Israel, right? So based on their own made-up narrative, right? They're imposing all these wars and all these they call them military operations against our country. They're killing people based on a claim. This is the Iraq War, 2003 all over again, right? You know that, and everybody knows that. So the off-ramp is just get off that high horse, get off your illusions, and respect Iran as a sovereign state. We could, the off-ramp is pretty clear. You know, if you want to talk to Iran, you can talk to Iran. You can agree. You can have agreements. I guess you would call them non-belligerence, right? You could have assurances. You could have nuclear assurances. These are all very simple off-ramps, and I mean, if they come to my mind, they have definitely come to the minds of the politicians and people who are officials of the United States and Israel and Iran. But the point is, who wants to take those off-ramps, right? This war has never been about Iran's nuclear weapons. This has never been about Iran wanting to be the strongest country in the Middle East. These are all excuses that are made to try and weaken Iran, right? The ultimate goal that Benjamin Netanyahu has clearly said that is to build the greater Israel, right? I'm still actually working on the latest bits, but I just finished translating a book called Anonymous Soldiers. This, I believe the underline is the struggle for Israel, right? And it talks all about how terrorism was used, anti-British terrorism was used to create Israel, right? And they are making heroes of those terrorists, right? In the Irgun, the Lehi, the Haganah, and all these terrorists who made Israel happen.
Yeah.
As the
Like
the so-called
the
Jewish.
bombing of the King David Hotel, for example.
Yes, that was one prominent example. Um, and they're doing the same thing. They're continuing that path. They're using terrorism to expand their territories. They're using anti-Palestinian terrorism. They're using terrorism against Iran, and they have, lucky for them, they have a nuclear program to make excuses. If we didn't have a nuclear program at all, they would call out our missiles, right? They would call out our Shia ideologies. They would call out something to just pursue their own agenda. It has never been about. I mean, who gave Iran their first nuclear reactor? Right? It was the United States. Right? It was just under the Shah, and they were happy to give Iran a peaceful nuclear program, but they're not going to give it to the Islamic Republic because it's an excuse. It's an excuse that they're exploiting to wage wars and to have this conflict go on forever, right?
Got it.
So the off ramp is just leave all those. I'm not gonna use the bull, term, but they're just disregard all of those and come to the negotiating table. We had a negotiation with the United States, right? As you said, we're supposed to be enemies, right? We are Iran and the United States, but we had an agreement. We stuck by it. Then Donald Trump came. Then we cannot trust, like Ahmed said, I think, we cannot trust the United States anymore. But there can be guarantees. There can be ways, as you call them, there can be off-ramps. We just need enough people who are willing to take those off-ramps.
Thank you, guys.
That's okay. That's okay. So the question is about the Supreme Leader. Can you re-ask the question?
Yes. Well, I'm sad now because Sajjad Musavi didn't like my question, and he doesn't want the future to be nuclear bomb free. And it's sad because I can see both sides, and I really don't want more countries having the capability to kill. I think that the possibility of countries using nuclear bombs on each other is real. We see how crazy leaders can be, right? You see it with Trump and Netanyahu. And so Ali Khamenei, your late great supreme leader, had this wonderful spiritual insight that said Iran is not desirous of a nuclear weapon. It's anti-Islamic because they're used to kill civilian populations, and therefore it's genocidal, it's unethical, and it was a beautiful thing to say. And but Sajjad just said, I'm giving up on the beauty and the piety and the holiness of being a peacemaker, and that I want the new supreme leader to abandon that philosophy, and that's a little bit scary.
So, I mean, we have invited Gareth Porter. Coming back to some years ago, we have invited investigative journalist Gareth Porter,
Right.
who authored Manufactured Crisis about Iranian nuclear dossier. And so he went to actually do some interviews with some of the generals of IRGC about the founder of Iranian Revolution, Imam Khomeini, actually forbidding any usage of chemical weapons during Iran-Iraq war. So this is not only about nuclear. There is three, according to what I know: MWD, weapon of mass destruction, nuclear, chemical, and there's the third one, maybe hydrogenic one, something like that. Anyhow, the issue is, at the time of Supreme Leader, former Supreme Leader, even some was somehow criticizing him, but that's religious jurisprudence view. So it cannot be issued by Sajjad, it cannot be issued by Hamid. People can have their own actually views, but that religious view can only be issued by Wali Faqih, who is a supreme leader of a religious society. That's a whole discussion, religious discussion. I don't want to go into details, but the issue is after the war in June 2025, many in Iran did say we have to change that policy. But the issue is right now we know that Russia has nuclear bomb, Israel has nuclear bomb, and Ukraine and Iran both did react to attacks from Russia and Israel. They are the two nuclear powers. Even they actually what we are saying about South Korea and North Korea, and somehow the issue is some people in Iran saying that's a kind of nuclear deterrence. But when Iran did attack Dimona, it has been proven that there is no deterrence, because Iran said, you in Israel, you think Dimona is the most protected actually region, and where you have all these nuclear facilities, they are going to attack some administration building, not nuclear radioactive building. So just to prove them that in that word, the question of nuclear deterrence is no more on. So that's something. The other issue is, as I said previously, Iran is going to say, according to the philosophy of Supreme Leader, the former, that I am going to challenge you, all you nuclear power, in a world without nuclear power. That's a philosophy, very, religion-based, very logical-based, actually philosophy of Iranian Supreme Leader, former Supreme Leader. So the issue is Iran, as a civilization, is going to challenge you in such a modern, savage world. Everyone is looking for nuclear bombs in Saudi Arabia and Turkey and so on. But Iran is not the case for Iran, according to what Supreme Leader actually believed. So the issue is right now, some saying if US and Israel put more pressure on Iran, it could lead to that change. Because right now we have a month of that brutal, aggressive war actually by Israel. So I use the word Israel, U.S. Israel. So that's a complex. It's not U.S. and Israel behaving.
I object.
So, and then you can object in your own time. But the issue is some analysis in the U.S. in Europe saying right now the new Supreme Leader can issue a new fatwa, a new religious view, which can differ with the previous one. And if you put more pressure on Iran, so Iran have many cards to play. Iran have Strait of Hormuz, which is not yet, totally closed. Iran has the Oman Sea. Iran has the Red Sea with Bab al-Mandab by Houthis and Yemenis. And Iran have many other capability, many other cards on the table of Iran. But if that pressure continues, if it will lead to the attack on Iranian civil infrastructures or universities as they did, it may lead to a change to Iranian policy when it comes to nuclear bomb. So what you as an American citizen should do, that's to do anything possible in order to prevent your government to do not mess with Iran. You are messing with the wrong country. We are not Venezuela. We are not Saudi Arabia. We are not Ukraine. We are Iran with an ancient civilization, and that's different. So that's Trump was really drunk of that victory in Venezuela, and he said, "Okay, let's run for Iran." And Iran was a really strong wall in front of Trump. So it may lead to a change of that policy based on, once again, that's something which has to be issued by Supreme Leader, because he is in charge of armed force in Iran. We have many religious instances in Qom, in seminaries in Qom. They are scholars. They can have some fatwa as well, but it will not be implemented on Iranian armed force. It's something uniquely addressed to Iranian Supreme Leader.
Okay, great, Hamid. I have to go in about 1 minute, but I think Sajjad wanted to come back in and clarify his policy.
Yes. I believe you said I'm not going to correct you right now.
No, go ahead.
But you
Correct
said
me. If I messed up, correct me.
No,
Go ahead.
no. You said the prospect of countries using nuclear bombs is a very real one, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that's more real than what we're experiencing right now. The countries with nuclear weapons, uh, they feel free to attack other countries because they know they have a a last solution, right? They know that if push comes to shove, if you will, they have that nuclear option, right? So if my country doesn't have that option, I would believe that these things will go on forever. I'm not, again, this is my personal opinion. I'm not here in my capacity as a journalist. I'm here talking to you in my capacity as an Iranian citizen right now,
Yeah.
and that's what I say is like Ahmed said. There are a lot of people who are saying that, you know what, maybe it's time that we change our policy. Maybe it's time that um, we are still Shia Muslim. We are still Shias. We are still Muslims. We still
Sajjad,
believe that.
just a moment, Sajjad, just a moment. You know, Sander is not a forbidden topic to be discussed in Iranian media. Right now, 24/7, many people, many analysts in Iranian media, they are talking about changing that policy. So I would like to say that's not something forbidden. People have various ideas and they are discussing that. Why? Because right now, Kim Jong-un and North Korean leader, he's saying, I am right now proven to have nuclear capacities in order to be protected from the U.S. invasion. So right now, there's something discussed in Iranian media.
Right.
Yeah, and then you
That's
have
good to hear.
the other samples, right? You have Iraq, you have Libya. So these are conclusions that rational people make. I'm not saying that we should
Ukraine,
make
you
the
have
nuclear
Ukraine, you
bomb
have
and attack
Ukraine.
other
I mean,
countries.
Ukraine did abandon all these nuclear bomb. And look what
I
happened
know.
to Ukraine.
I understand. I understand. Yeah, the example of Libya gives me pause as well, and I'm not sure what to say about that. I know what you mean. Gaddafi got rid of his nukes, and then the West got rid of Gaddafi, and we're not going to solve that one. I have to go pick my wife up at the airport. I
Just the
love you
last
guys.
sentence,
Wait.
last
We have to.
sentence,
Thank
last
you very much
sentence,
for the opportunity.
last sentence. That's not only about, nuclear bomb. I mean, they are going to limit Iranian missiles. They are
Right.
saying Iran should limit missiles in order to go only 300 kilometers
Yes.
wide in order to not actually reach
Right.
Israel. So that's
Right.
what they did with, Iraq and Libya, Saddam Hussein, and the same thing for Ukraine. They destroy your defense and they destroy your country. We are not that idiots.
Yeah.
Okay, one
Listen.
last thing, Sander. No, it's a very quick one. The little girl with the big flag, in the chador, the full veil that you saw,
Yeah.
right? You can go back and watch it again. That's my
Yeah.
little girl who I talked about. That's my
That's your-
4-year-old daughter.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That was really great because when Hamid was first talking, we had some great
Yeah.
visuals
I saw
from
you
you.
smiling.
It was like a movie. It was like a TV show. I
Yeah.
think this is going to be powerful because we had two voices
I hope so.
from the Islamic
I
Republic of
certainly hope
Iran.
so.
We had voices tonight from Mashhad, from Tehran. And I just want to leave you with this vision, guys. I've been in your country, and I hope someday that you'll visit my country. But I'm the one that's traveled a long distance to visit your country, and it was incredibly educational, and it gave me hope for peace between our countries. I remember flying from Dubai over the Straits of Hormuz and thinking about the Straits of Hormuz and how it's a choke point, and I knew that someday it would be probably a point of tension. Anyway, I want to end with this. I want us to envision coming back together, doing a conference again in Tehran again, or in Mashhad again, or in City again, or in Montreal, perhaps. Montreal is probably more realistic. But I want us, let's think about doing an international conference for peace, because the world obviously needs it. All three of us are smarter than the world's leaders. And so let's continue to pray. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to envision peace and reparations and justice, because it's not right what we did. And I'm so sorry about the girls' school. And I'm so sorry about Ali Khamenei. And And we're holding you in the light, and we're praying for a swift end to the conflict.
God bless you. God
Thank you
bless
very
America.
much for the opportunity, Sander. Thank you very much. I'm really grateful.
That's time for America to choose some wise leader.
Yeah, that's true. I hope we don't choose the Shah. I hope we don't force.
No king, no throne.
No kings. No kings. That's right. No kings. No kings. All right, guys. Salam. Tashakur.
Thank you so much.
Tashakur.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
God bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Power hates the truth when it comes from below. This channel is about how people fight power in politics, in religion, in the streets, and in everyday life. We cover democratic socialist races, Palestine, and the genocide in Gaza, Quaker resistance, peace work, and the long tradition of nonviolence that refuses to disappear. Because politics doesn't only live in elections, it lives in housing, in labor, in building things with your hands, in culture, and sometimes in loud, unapologetic punk rock. At the center of this work is the Monks and Punks podcast, a podcast about fighting power with all your heart. If you care about politics, Palestine, peace and nonviolence, housing justice, culture, or building a life that doesn't bow to power, this channel is for you. This is not commentary for spectators, it's for people who still believe ideas and human courage can change things.